Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise to the power of Abraham and Jacob. Kwame Yasharala. The brothers going to go ahead and introduce themselves. Come.
Khan, Shalom, Shalom. This is Captain Kadash from the Light of Zion. Hallelujah.
Khan Shalom. All praise to the Most High Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for truly his mercy endures forever. This is Captain Zamar, LOZ, Lee County. Shalom.
Come. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yashab Bakathum. To the Ox and the Akwath. All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is Captain Kyron from the Light of Zion. Hallelujah.
Shalom, Shalom. This is Officer Asher from the Light of Zion. Khan.
Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. This is Officer Obadiah from the Light of Zion. Shalom.
Shalom. This is Officer Nathaniel from the Light of Zion. Shalom.
All praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom for everybody tuning in. Shalom for everybody that tunes in weekly to the Sunday classes. We do appreciate everybody that tunes in, that likes, shares, and subscribes. We try to continue to bring, Israel the up-to-date news of things that's going on in the world, right? So, we got another. We just was bringing it out a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if we it was a couple of weeks ago where we brought out that a rapper got killed. I don't think a rapper got killed. I think it was his homeboy got killed, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Khan, Quando Rondo.
Quando Rondo. So the water. So a couple of weeks ago, we just was bringing it out about basically this death angel over the music industry, right? This spirit that's plaguing. I mean, it's been plaguing the music industry, but specifically the rap community has been plagued by violence, by gang activity, right? And it's a never-ending cycle, right? To the point where we're kind of not surprised. It's sad, but it's not surprised when we kind of go over these type of different stories about a rapper passing away, right? So we're gonna play this video right here. Before we start up, can we open up a Colossians 3:17, Baba Gusha? If somebody can read that, Baba Gusha.
Khan, I got it. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahushua, giving thanks to the Adonai and the Father by him.
Khan, all praise to the Most High, to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his son
I
Yahushua.
can't hear Kyron if he's speaking.
Khan, can anybody hear me?
Khan, I hear you loud and clear.
Good.
Khan.
Oh, okay, Con.
All praises. Okay. Khan, all praises. So I'm gonna start this video. Khan.
1:15 p.m. Southeast patrol officers responded to the 100 block of Manchester Avenue for a robbery that just occurred. When they arrived, they found a male suffering gunshot wounds, and that male was then transported to the hospital. What occurred was the victim, along with a female witness, were in this area eating at a restaurant when they were approached by at least one suspect who brandished a firearm and demanded property from the victim. The suspect then shot the victim multiple times and removed property, and then left the location in a getaway car. The getaway car fled in an unknown direction. We don't know where the vehicle went. Officers then were able to close down the scene until we could find out what the status of the victim is. I'm sorry to say that the victim has been pronounced deceased at 13:59 hours today. South Bureau Homicide is working this case, as are many other detectives. The victim was sitting at a table eating with a female witness when he was approached by the suspect. The suspect then brandished a firearm and demanded his property. We don't have the audio as to what the exact verbal exchange was at that time. The suspect then fired multiple rounds and then appears to remove some property. To what extent, we don't know at this time.
Hi, everyone. George.
Khan. So the brother basically he got he was approached. They said he brandished his weapon. So he's basically let him know he had the Parker rocket on him, and then obviously it may be more footage is most likely going to come out of. Hopefully there was cameras in the restaurant that most likely got the whole encounter, but the brother lost his life, and they said that they took his property, right? So we see it definitely was motivated. They had motivation, right? They had an incentive to basically go out and take this brother out. I mean, if the brothers wanted to send, apparently they left the wife is still alive, right? So if they were some, they're evil. These are evil people, but if they were if they really on that murder type of time, they probably took the lady out too, right? But we see this is just another example of the judgment in the earth, and this is why it's very imperative that we go out and teach our people to come out of these ways, man, right? So I wanted to just pull up this precept right here. This is the book of Amos, chapter 4, verse 11, and I'll get to the point. It says, I have sent among you the pestilence after the manner of Egypt. Your young men have I slain with the sword, right? So the scriptures tell us that through a result of our disobedience is seeing our people get gunned down like this, man, right? Our people are not resting in peace like this. Our people are getting killed, right? But this is a result of our disobedience and breaking the Most High's commandments, right? I got to bring it out. I bring this out every time we go over something like this, right? But the classic, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, meaning what? Meaning iniquity or lawlessness, transgression, right? Sin, wickedness, unrighteousness shall increase, right? Or shall abound. The love of many shall wax cold, right? It says the love of many shall wax cold, right? So that's why when we go out and teach our people to love your brother, right? To love your brother as yourself and things like that. Because our people are lacking that brotherly love, man, right? And I had another precept if a brother wanted to bring something out, right? But we see this is a result of our disobedience, the lack of love that's in our people, man, right? It shall wax cold. It shall wax worse and worse, man, right? Come on, anybody has something? I was going to bring out another precept.
You can get the classic Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Let's get
Con,
the classic because that's
con,
something that even though we read this all the time, it's always manifested. We see this
right.
happening. Even how many times have we done a class on a brother getting killed? This is
Con,
obviously a recurring thing, right? So, we have to make sure that we reiterate this all the time because this is prophecy coming to pass, right? And we have to figure out, even though we got it figured out, we have to continue to come out and push this message, right? Read that for me, whoever got it. Deuteronomy 28:54.
con. This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
And see, this is the unfortunate part because, so many of our people are in poverty, right? And you're looking at your brother as a come up. You could care less about his life. You could care less about the fact that he has children. His wife is sitting right there. You could care less about that. Only thing brothers can see is that come up. And so their eye is evil toward their own brother. You're not looking at this individual as like, you know what, this is a king. He's a child of the Most High. He's another Israelite. They're not looking at it like that. They're just looking at that come up, and unfortunately, these are the curses that we have to endure. This is what the Most High said we was going to have to go through for our disobedience, right? And it's not an easy thing to deal with when we lose somebody. And the other thing is now everybody says, oh, he was a good brother, right? He was a good brother. He had kids, but what was his message? What was he rapping about? I know for a fact the brother wasn't rapping about unity. He wasn't rapping about the Most High. He wasn't giving the Most High glory or honor. We don't know what this man was doing, right? And but we do know his message was not positive, right? So, real quick, can somebody give me Psalms chapter 12 and verse 2? Baba Kushar? Psalms chapter 12 and verse 2, right? Because again, these things tend to manifest themselves, right? We speak these things into existence when we're talking about all this wickedness in our music. You bringing it, you making it happen, right? You're birthing this wickedness. The Most High said he was gonna get us for what we for you know for not doing keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and the things that we say, we make it happen to ourselves. Whoever got that, real quick.
Con. This book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 2. They
Mhm.
speak vanity, every one with his neighbor.
Yeah, we get money. Y'all broke niggas this, y'all
Right,
broke
right.
niggas that. We get money over here. We can't be hanging with y'all broke niggas. Keep reading.
Con. With flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak.
Read on.
The Most High Yahweh shall cut off all flattering lips and a
Right.
tongue that speaketh proud things.
And that's what happens, right? Our brothers and sisters get so proud. They get so they're walking around with their chest puffed out, right? They don't have any type of they don't have any type of respect or love for the Most High or His law, statutes, and commandments. But the scriptures say the Most High is going to cut those flattering lips off, right? And we may look at this brother, right, and say, okay, well, he had children, he had a wife, but guess what? He wasn't doing what the Most High told him to do. He wasn't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He wasn't giving no type of praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, right? And for the least little thing, the Most High will cut you off. If you continue in your sin, He will cut you off. That's it on that.
That's an excellent point. It's crazy because um like we go into all the times. We understand the milk of the word, right? We understand life and death is in the power of the tongue. And that's why it's so important that we're very careful of the things that we say. That's why it's very important. That's why we see in the scriptures that the Most High is going to judge our words, because by our words we shall be condemned, and by our words we shall be justified, man. Right? And we see the brother, like Cap was bringing out. What message was he really trying to teach the people? Right? The influence that our people have, they can make a change, man. They can really make differences in these neighborhoods, man. Right? But that message that's what's giving them money, man. Right?
And
I
I,
did have go ahead.
and I just want to, jump in and say that we really got to do better as a people. You know what I'm saying? This is a testament, a pure example of why we should not live these type of lifestyles. Right? Yeah, it looks good, it looks flashy, grabs the woman's attention. We understand all those things, but we see the reward for those type of labors. Right? We see the rewards for the works that are being done in the earth. It's good living that type of lifestyle until the Most High send those angels against you. All right. A lot of people look at us and see what we're doing and they take it for granted. They say, well, these boys don't know what they're talking about. But this brother, if he was practicing the commandments, he will still have his life. These rappers are going to be held accountable for the things that they're saying and the things that they're doing, even in their ignorance. All right. That's a whole nother class. We talk about repenting from our the times we didn't know better. You still got to repent from those things. All right. I got a book of Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 2. It says, but your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you that he will not hear. And verse 3 is what I want. It says, for your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. It says, your lips have spoken lies, your tongue hath muttered perverseness. Right? These rappers, they speak about things. They even when you talk about on a science level, we talk about words that carry frequencies, and that all that just goes back to is to um, biblical things. Right? When we talk about the words, the power of the tongue, right? There's life and death in the tongue. Right? The things that you talk about is going to be reciprocated in your life. If you talk about killing, you talk about murdering, you talk about all of these things, you talk about laying down with this woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, right? These things are going to be reciprocated on your head, right? And this is why it's so important for the brothers to go into the highways and byways to warn them. We are the children of Israel. We are the watchmen for Israel. We are supposed to be the ones at the gate saying, listen, you cannot do that. It's not good for you. These things are they don't have a good reward at the end. Yeah, it feels good. Scriptures say that the wickedness seduceth the man, you know, and that it feels good to be bad. It feels good to do things that are contrary to the Lord. But is it really good for your spirit? Right? We got to really pay attention to these things. So their lips have spoken lies, and their tongues have continued to mutter perverseness. And we got to get away from these things. Right? But go ahead,
Khan, I had another precept. Right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18. And I'll start at verse 23. Um, have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith the Most High, and not that he should return from his ways and live? Right, the Most High, he's not trying to. He's not. He doesn't have pleasure in seeing the death of the wicked man. Right, but when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he has done shall not be Salakia. All his righteousness shall not be done. Salakia. All his righteousness that he has done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he has sinned, in them shall he die. Right? I'll jump to verse. Well, I'll jump to verse. I'll keep going. Yet ye say, the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel, is not my way equal? Are not your ways unequal? When a righteous man turneth from his righteousness, when a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and dieth in them, for his iniquity that he has done shall he die. Again, when the wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he has committed and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive. Right? So the Most High, he's breaking this down. He's letting the children of Israel know, man, we have to turn away from our wickedness, man. We don't have pleasure, we don't have pleasure in seeing our brothers laid out on the ground like that, man. Right? Right? Hold on, I got another priest I'm gonna bring out.
Come. Hey, this a sad situation. I seen the video, seeing a brother laying down in his blood, man, right? And you had but our people, man, out of all the nations, our people are very flashy, man, right? And Jake loved jewelry, man, right? But you got the brothers that came in and robbed the brother for his jewelry, right? And you think about it, like if they try to sell it, they gonna end up telling on themselves, or somebody might report it, or even if they get caught wearing it, right? But I had a precept, Sirach chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, "Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten." Right? These brothers got this man jury unjustly, right? And it says, "For they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity." Right? And I yield.
Con, that's a powerful precept. Captain Tyrone, did you want to bring out a precept? I had something.
I got,
I'm still looking for that slot.
I
Con,
got.
I got a precept. Real quick.
Okay, go ahead, Cap.
Like you, Captain. Let me bring this out real quick. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "For they know not to do right, saith the Most High, who store up violence and robbery in their palaces." Right? And we got our brothers, they call themselves jack boys, right? They make a career out of killing and stealing, right? So they lay up this robbery in their palaces, in their minds, in their hearts. This is what they intend to do. They have no care for who they're attacking or who they're violating. It's just they're focused on violence and robbery. Verse 11 says, "Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, An adversary there shall be even around about the land, and he shall bring down thy strength from thee, right? And thy palaces shall be spoiled, right? And so, that's basically saying, there's an adversary, there's somebody lurking on every corner, no matter where you go, predominantly in our neighborhoods where the children of Israel dwell, right? You're gonna find people lurking, looking, waiting to spoil you, waiting to attack you, waiting to rob you, but ready to take your life for the smallest things, right? And so, without the protection of the Most High, without keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, these are the type of pits and snares that we fall in as a people. So, it's really important to allow the Most High to be your protection. But the only way to do that is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's what our people are so hard headed and not wanting to do. Have structure and discipline, right? But it will be the death of you, as we can see. Are you?
Con, Cap, I had just another precept. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse um verse 11. This is basically the same sentiment that's being spoken of in Ezekiel 18. This is Ezekiel 33 and 11. It says, "Say unto them, as I live, saith the Most High Power, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel?" Right? Like, why would you then? And this is why Ecclesiastes is so powerful when it talks about vanities of vanities, man. Right? These things that you singing about, rapping about, is not worth your life, man. Right? So we see that, and now look at this. We got the brother he left. Now he got a young girl, right? And a young daughter that he can no longer protect, man. Right?
Two daughters.
Right? Two daughters, Khan. And this continues that cycle of broken families with fathers not in the homes, right? We understand it's systemic, but it's also cultural. We see it's also a result of our own internal issue with our people, man, right? That causes stuff like this to happen. Now she got to grow up without a dad, man, right? She's gonna have to grow up seeing those videos of her dad on the ground bleeding out, right? That's the last thing she's gonna see. You know what I'm saying, right? But this is just and all this could be avoided if we turn back to God's commandments. Christianity, our people tried Christianity already, man. Right? They tried that already, and our people are still committing this wickedness, man. Right? And I yield on that.
Con, I got a precept real quick. This is the book of Psalms, 55. Let me see. I'm gonna start. 1 second. I'll start at verse 23. 23. It says, "But thou, O Most High, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee." Meaning what? If we trust in the Lord, we do what the Lord told us to do, we shall live out our full days. But because we're not doing that, the Lord is cutting our days short. All throughout the scriptures, it talks about young men perishing. It talks about young men fainting, young men falling by the sword, right? Being called the enemy of the Lord. Because what? You don't want to listen to the Lord. If you don't listen to the Lord and do what he told you to do, you will be considered an enemy in his eyes, right? Tell me where the Christian church is teaching things like that. All right. We have to continue to keep the commandments and push the commandments. Like you bringing out the man leaving his daughters behind. He got I don't know what situation was going on with the baby's mother, right? But he left a family, man, right? And we all know what happens when you take a man from a family. We all know the destruction that in the you remove that hedge of protection, and not just physically talking, because we're talking about spiritual protection. When you talk about learning the commandments, teaching them certain things from experiences, right? Things they ought not to do, things they ought to do. All right. If we do not continue to keep the commandments, our days shall be shortened. Even in the Torah, it talks about these things. It talks about children's days. You're not going to be able to live out your full days if you don't keep the commandments. Keep the commandments in the land, you shall fulfill your days. But we're not doing that right now. And nobody understands why. Scriptures talk about, I always bring this out. Evil men understand not judgment. All right. They look at P and B, well, he was a good brother. Was he? According to the scriptures. Right. And I have empathy for the brother. I have sympathy for the brother, but we have to use that as an example. Obviously, we can't bring the brother back, but we look at his situation. If we don't want to end up in this situation, we learn from his mistakes. That's what we have to learn to do. We look at other brothers and see where they went wrong. Okay, they took a left here, they took a right here. I know not to do that. But you got all these rappers falling into the same category, man. How are all these rappers dying like this? All right. It's because the Most High has these angels in the earth and they doing judgment, man. We got to come back and keep the commandments. But if anybody else got a precept.
All praises, and that's a powerful point. And just to go into the wisdom of the situation, right? We know the brother's not just a regular brother, right? The brother's pretty much well known, right? And understanding that you have he has enemies, right? You have people that don't like what you have, that want what you have and don't like you. You see what I'm saying? And the wisdom of the scriptures will tell us to be more sober and vigilant, right? If somebody can give me the book of First Peter, Baba Kusha, the book of First Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, Baba Kusha.
Con, I got it.
The water king.
Con, this is the book of First Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may destroy.
Right. So we see this is exactly the spirit that this is how you have to operate in, right? Whether you moving in that life or you're not, right? We have to have that sense of social awareness. You see what I'm saying? You have to be sober and vigilant, right? Because we have adversaries on a spiritual level, right? And on a physical level, right? So we see that it's very, but this wisdom is not coming from the Quran. This wisdom is not coming from the Christian church,
Right.
right? This wisdom is not coming from the brothers that believe in the Big Bang Theory and things like that. They're not having that type of wisdom. This wisdom only comes from the scriptures that's breathed by the Most High Himself, man. Right?
What about studying the universe?
Right. The universe ain't giving you this breakdown.
Right.
Right? The universe ain't giving you the breakdown. The Egyptologist is not giving you this breakdown.
Right.
Right? The 48 laws of Mayat is not giving you this breakdown or giving you this understanding, man. Right? The only way you can apply these scriptures and get this understanding is through the word of the Most High, man. Right? We understand this. This is why it's so important that we're blessed to have this mindset of the Most High, right? Not understanding His ways, but understanding His judgment, right? Understanding that judgment is like a flood. Salakia, I need that precept, because this is gonna happen again, right? So what goes around comes around, right? Now you're gonna have brothers retaliating. What's that precept in Second Ezra, Salakia? It says judgment is like a ring. I need that precept. Judgment is like a ring. What is that precept at? Salakia, anybody know what I'm talking about? It says judgment is like unto a ring.
Let me try to get it up.
Right? So we see that this is how the cycle continues. Right? One brother gets shot and killed, then you got retaliation against the brother that got shot and killed, and it's just bloodshed, man. They got to get it. They got to get it back in blood. Thawada, you can bring that up, Bobby Shaw.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 42. And said unto me, I will my judgment unto a ring.
Unto a ring, man. It's unto a ring. So this is gonna happen right here. Then it's gonna go back to the person that did it. Then it's gonna come right back to this person, man. Right? And now his family is gonna have to protect themselves. Right? The Most High's judgment is like unto a ring. Right? Keep going on that. Baba Kusha.
And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring.
Right.
there is no slackness of the last,
Hmm.
even so there is no swiftness of the first.
Right. So the same way you see that judgment come immediately, it's the same way you're not going to be able to prepare yourself for that judgment that comes next. Right. The Most High, man, we got to understand the Most High is a terrible power, man. Right. But this goes back to the basics on why we teach brotherly love, right? Why we teach to love one another, man, right? To bring back that brotherly love and that family and that brotherhood back in the communities, man, right? But we preaching hate, right? We preach hate, right? That's what they say. We preach and hate because we're trying to restore back our communities because we see that the Christian community has failed our communities. You got 5 different blocks of churches, but the crime is still at the same rate, right? Salaki, can the brother Baba Kushal give me the book of First Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 9?
Con, I got you.
Con, the water cap.
This is the book of First Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 9. But as touching brotherly love, ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of the Most High to love one another.
Right, and this is a very foundational precept, right? So, right, this is a very foundational precept on teaching the brotherly love, right? We lost our way. We lost the ways of having that brotherly love on one another, right? Having that spirit of showing love. And we're not gonna say brothers is not gonna get into it sometimes, right? We're not gonna say brothers, right? But we need to have that spirit of grace and mercy and care for one another, man. The scriptures talk about the lack of being tender and delicate. When you're tender and delicate with something, you're fragile. You make sure that thing doesn't break, man. Right? You protect it, you cherish it, you appreciate it, man. That's the brotherly love. That's the spirit that we have to operate in, right? To love one another. This are the things that we teaching our people, man. Right? Can you continue reading on that up to verse 10, Baba Gusha?
Consul, like, where were we at again? I was going through another scripture.
Con, you good, King. First Thessalonians 4, and you can go to verse 10. Go on.
This is the book of First Thessalonians, chapter 4, and verse 10. And indeed, ye do it toward all the brethren which are in all Macedonia. But we beseech you, brethren, that ye increase more and more,
Right. We have
and
to
that ye
continue.
should.
Okay, that's it on that, King. That we increase more and more. That we increase more and more in the spirit, right? In our love for one another, right? Our diligence in this truth, right? Our work for the Most High. We have to continue to increase more and more, right? And I'll yield on that.
Con, I got a precept to
Con.
give me 1 second. I'm gonna go to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. Right, we talk about the brother, we talk about wisdom out of the scriptures and how we need to use these things walking in this evil world. Right, so Ephesians 5 and verse 15, it says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Meaning, when you walk around, be alert, be on point, understand what's going on, not just on a physical level, but on a spiritual level. Right? It says, "Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is." See, and that's a lot of that. That's the root of the problem. A lot of brothers, a lot of sisters, they don't understand, right, what the will of the Lord is. Right? They think as long as I say I love God with my lips, I'm all good. As long as I believe that Jesus walked the earth, I'm all good. No, it's more to it than that, right? It says, "And be not drunk with wine wherein excess, but be ye filled with the Spirit." All right. Verse 19, "Speaking to yourself in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs," not demonic songs, but spiritual songs, not songs talk about getting with your brother's wife, right? Not songs that talk about things like killing your brother because you just don't like him, or you stepping on the ops, or you'll wipe his nose, right? These are not things that are good, right? When we talk about the hate that we have for each other, man, and guarantee you this is our own people doing this. I was looking at a video. He got into it with a brother. I believe he was in LA, And the brother, like, he really wasn't playing with. He said, "Listen, man, when I see you, I'm gonna snatch that chain off your neck." You know, him and PNB Rock, they going back and forth. And before he hung up, he said, "Look, I'm gonna make you eat them words." That's what the brother said before he got off the live with him. Now, I'm not saying he did it or whatever the case might be, but sometimes it be your own people that really have that hate for each other. All right. So when we go out in the streets and we talk about loving one another and we talk about understanding who the enemy is, right? This is why. Because we look at each other and we don't have respect for one another. We look at each other and we think nothing of his life. Even when he has a family to raise. This man got 2 daughters. Now who gonna raise them? And somebody gotta pay for these things. Listen, blood, like Jose, matter of fact, let me get that real quick.
Hosea 4:1.
Yeah,
That
come.
blood touch that's a powerful precept, man.
All right,
That blood touches blood,
that go hand in hand with what you was bringing out in Second Esdras, chapter 5.
I got the
Con,
precept.
That judgment like a ring. Yeah, come.
con.
Read Hosea 4:1. All right.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Most High, ye children of Israel, for the Most High hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing.
And
And
they did both of those things to that brother. The first thing it says, man, there's no truth. There's no truth. If everybody, listen, man, if we were really practicing the things that are written in this scripture, we wouldn't have these type of things happening. But people hate us for teaching these things. People literally hate us for telling them you cannot kill your brother. That if your brother transgresses against you, how many times you gotta forgive this man? You gotta forgive this man 7 times 70. Listen, man, that's a code of conduct that we're missing amongst our people. That means you cannot hate your brother under any circumstance. But they tell us that we're wrong for what we teach. They tell us that we're a hate group when we teach a love among our people to be for us and by us. They don't understand these things, man. Come on, keep reading on that.
con, by swearing and lying, killing and stealing, and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood.
Hey, blood touches blood, man. Right? Blood touches blood. Sin on top of sin, killing on top of killing, right? You kill me, I kill you. And it's just a continuous cycle. People just gonna continue to fall by the sword as long as they don't keep the commandments. And just to put that on the forefront, these things are going to continue happening until the Lord returns and resets this place. Our job as Hebrews, as servants of the Most High, our job is to pull everyone out that is willing to listen, pull them out of that cycle. It's like a washing machine, man. All right, it's just spinning, 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 spinning. We trying to get people out of this washing machine. All right, but nobody want to listen to us. They deem what we're saying to be hateful. They deem what we're saying to be wrong because Seventh-day Adventists, Egyptologists, Islam, they're not teaching to the extent that we're teaching brotherly love and sisterly love. We talk about laying your life down for the nation,
Right.
laying your life down for your brother, your sister, having love for one another. You don't even have to know that brother, but once you see another Hebrew, you know that you got almost close to unconditional love to this brother or sister. All right. So we talk about that blood touching blood. All of these things are a result of us not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, not having mercy on one another. All right. We look at each other for hate, man.
Man, our people don't want to hear none of that, man. They just want to what's the right word? They want to indulge in their lust, man, whatever it may be. That they want to indulge in that cup of wrath. They want to indulge in that cup of whoredom. They want to indulge in cup of fornication and all of that. They don't want to hear these scriptures, man. And it's really sad that this brother had to go. You know what I'm saying? He passed away just because of a little bit of jealousy and envy, seeing that one brother made it out the hood and is well established. That a brother got very envious and wanted to take this brother life, man. Our people don't want to learn. Our people are way too ignorant. Like the scriptures say, they are stiff-necked and rebellious people, man. And it's very damaging to the community because we always talk about they always want to talk about Black Lives Matter, but when a black man kills another black man, who where's justice for that? It's almost hypocritical. How can we be respected amongst these other nations if we killing each other? We doing their job for them at this point, slaying each other down in the street. We it's so bad. You have to you in these streets that you have to almost put on a tough act to let other people know don't mess with you, man. And with that, I yield, man. Like it's crazy, man.
Con, and I wanted to bring out another point. That's 2 points I wanted to bring out. I'll probably the train that plane probably left already, but I had another piece I wanted to bring out. This is Jeremiah 7:23. Just going back to the point where this all is a result of our disobedience and not obeying or hearing the words of the prophets of the Most High. It's classic precept. This book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 23. But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I will be your power. Right? All our people have to do is just obey the words of the Most High. Not if they're Christian pastor that's robbing them, right? Not if they're Christian pastor that's only teaching 2 books out of the Bible, right? They're not hearing the voice of the Most High, thus saith the Most High, through the law and the prophets and the Mashiach Yahushua, right? And ye shall be my people, and walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. But they hearken not, nor incline their ear, but walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward, man. This is the direct result of our people, man. They went backward and not forward. We see the crimes just a couple days ago. Brother's homeboy got shot, right? That doesn't give us no wake up call. We ain't, that changes nothing, right? Our people continue to go backwards and not forward. We go from evil to evil, man, right? Truth is cut off. There's no truth in the land, right? And this is just all a result of them not hearkening unto the voice of the Most High Yahweh, man. And we know this is not going to, I don't want to, but we know this is not going to be the last article we see. Hopefully it is, right? But this is not going to be the last article we see, man. Of one of these rappers getting into an argument, whatever case may be, right? And they lose their lives a lot, right? So we see this is something that, man, we got to get out, man. We got to get out of this damn mentality. That's why they call it crabs in the barrel. It is like a crabs in the barrel, but crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket. It is, like Captain Zamar was saying, this is the result of us envying our brother, right? Right? Trying to take from him when we don't have nothing ourselves, right? Or trying to take from another brother, he barely has it, right? And this is just a constant cycle, man. Right? And I yield on that.
Con, let's get to the next video.
Con. So I wanted to pull up this video. All praise to the well, I ain't gonna do that, but so the Death Angel, Swanton bombed, RKO'd, Stone Cold Stunner, Queen Elizabeth. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. Right?
Yo, this man.
Right? Let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7 for the Edom lovers, right quick. Before the Edom lovers start to, the Edomite lovers come out of nowhere. Brother, you going off, brother.
Right.
I got
Stop seeing you. Don't rejoice over the fall of your enemy, brother. Right?
I got
Let's
it.
get Sirach 25 and 7, Baba Kushah.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 25 and verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
All praises to Father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? The scriptures is powerful, man. The scriptures is powerful, right? So let me pull up this article right quick. Right, I had a video I wanted to show. I actually wanted to pull up this article first. It's basically is gonna demonstrate how the royal family, which Queen Elizabeth is a part of, they had a part in funding the slave trade, right?
That's
So
crazy.
right, so we're gonna bring this out as well. Um, I don't know what it is. Maybe that was before my time, right? Because I guess our folks, our elders, not our elders in the truth, but our elders in the world, they feel as if I mean, I was watching this news article. They said it's like we lost a mother. It's like we all lost a piece of us. What's going on, right? What did she do for black people, right? Can you tell me one? What did she do for the Israelite man or child, right? I don't get it, man. Right. So I'm gonna just read this right here. It says, what are the British monarchy's historical links to slavery? While it is difficult to say how much of the royal family's wealth is owed to the slave trade, the past links date back to the 16th century. Right. A 19th century engraving depicting slave trade routes in the 17th and 18th centuries photograph the Granger collection Alamy. Right? So it's basically giving a depiction of the different slave route and things like that. Right? We had sugar, molasses, rum, coffee, wines. Right? We about to actually go over that in the portion tomorrow. Actually, everybody that's all praise everybody that tuned in. The quick diatribe, but continue to tune into the Shabbat classes as well. All right, all praises. We'll just had to plug that in there.
Con, tell
Right?
me what time the Shabbat classes start at.
The Shabbat classes is from 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. or 3 o'clock p.m. Right, we go over the Torah, right? We go over the law and the prophets, like it's spoken of in Acts 13 and the 15th, Acts 13 and the 15th chapter or the 14th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, right? But continue to tune in. This is where we go into the fundamentals and the milk and the meat and potatoes of the scriptures, right? So continue to tune into that as well. Just going to quick diatribe, right? Let me continue on this here. It says protests have taken place during the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge Caribbean tour, with the royal family accused of having historically benefited from the slave trade and the British Empire. But what exactly are the monarchy's historical links to slavery? The royal family's links back to the 16th century and 16th century, Salaki, in 1562. John Hawkins was the first known English person to include enslaved Africans in his cargo, a journey that was approved by Elizabeth I. The enslaved Africans were traded for goods, including ginger and sugar, right? In 1564, Hawkins arranged another voyage for which Elizabeth I funded a vessel, right? Vessel in regards to a ship. In 1660, the Royal African Company was established by the Duke of York, who later became James II, with involvement from his brother Charles II. The Royal African Company was prolific within the slave trade. According to the Slave Voyages website, between 1672 and 1731, the Royal African Company transported more than 187,000 slaves from Africa to English colonies in the North, Central, and South America. Many of the enslaved Africans transported by the Royal African family were branded DY, standing for Duke of York. So we were getting branded by these people that was funded through the royal monarchs, right? We're getting branded like cattle, right? We're being exchanged for, it said, ginger and sugar, right? So we're equivalent, a life is equivalent to ginger and sugar, right? Between 1690 and 1807, an estimated 6 million enslaved Africans were transported from West Africa to the Americas on British or Anglo-American ships. The slave trade was protected by the royal family and parliament, right? It is difficult to estimate how much of the current royal family's wealth is owed to slavery, but it is understood that the profits of the slave trade funded the treasury as well as Britain's industries, buildings, railways, roads, and parks, right? So, but this is the person that we're supposed to be saying rest in peace and, oh, Queen Elizabeth,
God save the
right?
queen.
Oh man, brother, God, which God saved the Queen,
That's what. Hey,
right?
listen. I don't know. I don't know who
God
they
saved
talking
the
about.
Queen, right? They must not have heard that, right? God saved the Queen, right? So, I also had a video I wanted to play, just going into some of their you know, colonial, their colonization on certain countries and things like that. Let me just bring this up right here. The lady, let me bring this up. Salak. If anybody's has some precepts or things they want to comment on that article, you can go ahead and bring it out. We'll pull this up right quick.
Con, real quick, I just want to go into some some scriptures real quick. I'm gonna get so like here, Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2, right? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, right? And they've been in rulership. They've been basically had a monopoly on the continent of Africa or big portions of it for a long time. And you see what happens, right? You got poverty, right? Now you got the continent of Africa is probably by far the richest continent on the planet, right? But if they call it the third world country, right? Because these people, like if you look at this devil and the jewels that she wore, right? The scepter that had the largest diamond in the world on it, right? Displaying all the wickedness that they have, right? From all the stuff that they've stolen from all these people, right? So these people are in rulership, and the people are in mourning. They're destroying families. They're destroying cities. They're destroying towns. They're destroying parts of the continent. They're raping it of its resources, and they're destroying the people. I'm gonna jump down to verse 16. It says, "When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall." And this is what happened. This is the beginning of what's going to continue to happen, right? Because the Most High is not going to allow this wickedness to go on forever. So, fortunately, a lot of us are blessed to see the fall of this wicked demon. That people look up to and they're crying for, and all of this other stuff. But the righteous, we rejoicing at this thing, right? We happy that the Most High passed judgment and took this demon off the earth. So all praise to the Most High for that.
Khan, all praise to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Khan. All right, so I'm gonna play this quick video. It's like 3 minutes long. Just going into some history of Queen Elizabeth. All right, let me pull this up. So I just lost the link. All right.
Yarehe itokia kwa Isabel. Nĩguo ndauga. No ndiauga arehire kũndũ kũrĩkũ. Ndakaneane. Ethe mũndũ ũrĩa ũrĩ na hakiri njega. Arehe kũ? Wandayo. Nĩaja mũthenya ĩ.
No. What's your note? Oh.
Rĩrĩa guokirwo mũngũrũrio rĩ, ngĩũrio kũrĩa rĩ, ngiuga niĩ ndimũĩrĩga. Ngĩrega ngiuga, ũngiuga no ũragwo. Ũka rĩ, mũciĩ ũrĩ o kuo, kana mwana wake o kuo.
Oh, fair use, Salakia, fair use, Salakia, fair use.
Akĩnjotora gũkũ na akĩnjotora gũkũ, akangura kũgũrũ gũkũ, ona mũngĩona kũgũrũ gũkũ no muone gũkũ one baba, one ũrĩa kũhana gĩcigo tene mathanwa merĩ. Mugabika Dwajet. Nori Yoka Mugo that I won't see the Mura how Mugavikana. Oraku Waku, get a jago, get a Banima Meda, one my Orekela. Okay, but he get to see the Kamoguada, what are that?
Dios, Dios. No. Yo no. Oh,
Right. So we see that the sisters basically just seeking reparations, right? Seeking justice from the injustice that was done to her people, right? Under the authority of Queen Elizabeth, quote unquote, right? So we see that these people are wicked, man. They're innate. They are the wicked of all the earth, right? But the Most High is going to start exterminating these wicked people, man, and these wicked nations, right? One last scripture for the queen, right? Salaki, can somebody give me the book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 24? Baba Kasha, the book of Sirach, chapter
Sirach
27.
27, Sirach
Khan,
27 and 24.
Baba
Con, I
Kasha,
got you.
Khan,
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 24.
right,
I have I have hated many things,
right,
but nothing like him.
uh-huh,
For the Most High will hate him.
right. For the Most High will hate these people, man. For the Most High will abhor this nation, man, right? He hates nothing like the Edomite, like the Idumean, right? Right. So we see the Most High's judgment is on the earth, man. We got to make sure we gird it up in the spirit because the judgment begins at the house of the Most High, right? So I'll pray to the Most High. I pray everybody was edified. Hope everybody is continue to digest these lessons, staying in the spirit, walking in the spirit, right? Continue to be fervent and diligent in prayer and in fasting. Continue to stay on fire for the word. Continue to pray to the Most High to allow you to be on fire for the word as well. I'm just gonna plug a couple things in here. Um, Continue to subscribe to all our channels. We have Shofar Loud, where all our music is. The Light of Zion Treasure Coast, the Light of Zion MDC, Augusta, Georgia, the Light of Zion Highlands. We also have Spanish channels that's not listed here. We have a Spanish uh, that's not listed here, but we also have Spanish channels as well. That's here that that we got to for the body of LOZ continue to support. I also wanted to plug in, we are continuing to trying to build a school, and trying to make that little sanctuary for our people, right, for the children of Israel. So continue to donate. We do appreciate everybody that continues to donate. Um, Cash App us at LOZ Lee County, Baba Gusha for at $7, right? We're trying to build this school, build a sanctuary so we can have a zone and a foundation to continue to build this truth for our people, right? So like, can somebody give me the book of Acts chapter 20 and 35, Baba Gusha? The book of Acts chapter 20 and 35.
Con, I got it.
Con.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 35.
Con. Baba Gusha.
I have showed you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Most High, of Yahushua, how he said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive."
Con. I'll praise it. All praise to the power of everybody and Jacob. We do appreciate everybody that continues to donate. It is not in vain. We're trying to build another school. We brothers are continue to try to build another zone right now. Right now we're in the park, but we continue to trust the Most High. We see what the Most High has done for us already. We continue to hold our peace and let the Most High fight for us. But we continue to count the costs and see that we need need your guys' help to continue to allow us to help build this sanctuary. We appreciate everybody that continues to tune in, that continues to comment and likes the videos, that continues to subscribes and shares the videos. We do appreciate you guys. If we're going to continue to bring these lessons to you guys more. Thank you for everybody that continues to interact with our community page as well, with our questions and things like that. We do appreciate everybody that continues to tunes in, that like, shares, and subscribe. Um, with that, I say peace and love to the children of Israel, and death and destruction of Babylon. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Hallelujah.